So welcome back to it, guys, the Now Morning Show, and we are coming to you live from Beverly's Oasis in beautiful Tobago. Now, we cannot come to Tobago to talk Tobago Carnival and not talk Tobago Heritage. So this morning, I am joined by Miss Lisa Arthur-Lovell, the event project assistant for the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, and she is going to bring me up to speed with all that they have happening in beautiful Tobago. Good morning and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
An absolute delight, because when we think of Tobago Heritage, we think of the grandeur of the launch and the immersive experience that
Yes.
usually happens. But I know this year things are being done a little bit differently.
Yes.
We've digitized, if you will.
And we're moving with the times.
Before the end of the morning, you guys can head over to their social media to see the official launch digitally anyways,
Yes,
with the
yes.
visuals that will be shared on social media shortly, and giving you a sneak peek throughout the Now Morning Show right here on this interview. So it's good
Awesome.
things, big things.
Big things are happening.
Big things start, though, on the 1st of July, is it?
That's right. So the Heritage Festival starts on the 1st of July, and this year's theme is We Come Back. And the theme really lends itself to showcasing that we're coming back to our communities or villages or heritage productions. And so we saw it fitting to kind of draw into that We Come Back to, to the indigenous aspects of our heritage.
Now, that is not an easy feat. Generally, putting on any sort of show that continues to be over the years evolving with the people and the communities that it's involved in, there must be some sort of prep. So when we think of that July 1st launch, how long are we talking about prep time? When did that start?
Prep time started as far back as last year, because we have to send out a call to action for proposals to be submitted by all our village groups or stakeholders who are interested in being part of the heritage production. What that means is that those proposals must be submitted, and we have an adequately capable team that goes through those proposals. Once we get those proposals, we call in those village groups and stakeholders to go through the proposals with them, give them some finite and some fine-tuning in terms of the viability of the proposals, give them things that they need to work on if that is necessary. Once that is done and the approval is given from the Heritage Office, it is up to the village councils, based on what their budgetary allocations are, to decide if they are going to participate and engage in the Heritage Festival for that given year.
Now, I like that you say giving them tips on things they need to change if it's necessary,
Yes.
because the creme de la creme comes out.
Yes, they do. They do. They really come out hard-hitting, because the Heritage Festival is one of our major events on the island that persons anticipate attending. In terms of prepping for the heritage, it's a lot of pre-preparations in terms of determining what our logistic build-outs are, who are we going to engage in terms of adding to the elements of the event, what the event feels like for patrons, because persons tend to feel, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. So it's important that we have some very finite changes in terms of what people experience, and so it lends itself to the event that it shows growth and viability and sustainability.
And completely understandable, but also making sure that you keep the things that we do like.
That's right.
So
That's
tell me what the familiar will look like, because you have quite the calendar.
We have a month-long calendar. I mean, there are some clear days on the calendar, but it kicks off on the 1st of July with Thanksgiving service, and that's free at the Scarborough RC Church. And then we move on to a heritage film symposium on the 2nd, and that would encompass some films that have been redone capably by our performing arts company. And then we move on to the first official performance type event, which is the Children's Heritage Extravaganza. Or youths would be able to showcase the art form, indigenous art forms, and we see from a different perspective, not just adults performing, but we are engaging our youth in the production as well. We have 4 paid events, because we had to make some money.
Of course.
We had to make some money.
I mean.
Of course. And so we are looking forward to the heavy hitters for the Heritage and the Miss Tobago Personality Show. It's highly anticipated. That's when our queens come out in their glory and showcasing their heritage gowns. And of course, the elements of that show is always entertaining and engaging for patrons. we can't forget the Mariah Old Time Wedding.
I was going to ask.
And so persons are keenly anticipating that event as well. Um, Charlottesville also comes out hitting hard with their National Treasures Day. One thing that I am looking forward to as well is the Belmarno Riots production in Roxborough, where they will be, reenacting what took place at the Belmarno Riots.
Some history coming to life
Some
again.
history coming to life, and very interactive experience for persons who will be participating in that street parade. So elements like that persons can look forward to. We do have a very nostalgic event on the calendar in terms of recognizing our stalwarts and community leaders, and that's in the form of Yesterday's Children, or recognition of these persons and individuals. It's very important to us. And so we'll be entertaining them, and we'll be make sure we have them dined at the Magdalena Grand and really paying homage to their contributions to our communities. So those are just some of the calendar events that we have lined up.
Some pretty dynamic events to
Yes.
make sure that your July is going to be very much educational and indicative of Tobago, but wholesome. Everything you described here is pretty much things that we could bring the whole family to.
Yes, and we do have a culinary aspect of an event on the calendar, or Heritage Food Fair, and that's going to be taking place at the Tadco Food Hub. And so we bring in the villages out, the community cooks to do some bragging rights and prepare those indigenous foods that persons love. And we would have some elements of entertainment as well.
Right.
And so we're inviting persons to just come out and enjoy the Heritage Festival and be part of the production of the villages.
Now, one of the things that I think goes over people's head, if you will, with the Heritage Month is that these are, and this is involving the community at every single level.
Yes.
You mentioned with the youth, you're including them in the production part of things as well. That means that this is your average neighbor, your friend
Yes.
from down the road,
Yes.
getting involved behind the scenes as well. Tell me a little bit about that process, because you did mention, yes, there needs to be approvals and there is planning as far in advance as a year, but the actual experience required is nil.
Well, the beauty about Tobago is many of our youths do have some experience in performances, because we do have avenues where persons are able to be trained in dance and drama. And so when the heritage comes around, we are sort of semi-prepared in terms of when the call to action goes out, that they are able to come and participate and engage. And that's why the village groups are so important, so that they can always be in contact and have persons engage outside of the heritage season. So the actually getting persons to participate is not as difficult
Right.
as persons think it is, because they do have productions ongoing and engaging the youth, so that it's an easy transition to participate in the festival.
Beautiful stuff. Now, you did mention that some of these events are paid events.
Yes.
If we needed to get tickets or reserve spots, how do we do that?
Right, so the tickets would usually be available at our head office at Bobtail Building at Smithfield, and we usually have the courtesy of the box office at the Shaw Park Complex to have tickets available, and on the day of the show, tickets would most likely be available at both locations.
All right, sounds good to me. So this calendar, though extensive, you gave us a little skimming, if you will, of the events. Where can we see the full calendar as well?
So the full calendar is available on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, so persons can feel free. We may have some printed at our events office at Wilson Road, that persons can come in and they can collect the calendar of events.
All right. Well, it sounds like a beautiful way to spend your July-August vacation.
Yes.
It kicks things off, really and truly. But when you talk about that prep happening a year in advance, does that mean that 2025 is already in the works?
Well, once this year's event is finished, we will start on 2025, because we have to come up with a theme again, and we have to decide, okay, what does this look like moving forward in 2025?
I was hoping you could have texted me a little team or something now this morning, but we'll wait till
Yes.
things wrap. And this calendar takes us all the way to the end of July.
Yes, it takes us to the 1st of August, where we close off with the Emancipation Day celebrations.
Perfect. So if you're looking for something fun to do with the entire family and you want to celebrate the Tobago heritage,
That's right.
come on down.
It's the place to be.
Absolutely. This July, as we like to say, Java, start things off right
That's right.
with a visit to Tobago. Thank Thank you very much, Mrs.
It was a
Lavelle, for
pleasure.
joining me this morning. An absolute delight. Looking forward to all the activities, and we'll talk later on in the year to find out more about the next year theme.
Sounds like a plan.
The No Morning Show is going to continue Tobago Thursdays, making sure that you are celebrating with us as we are happy to be here and happy to have you back after these messages.